college is hard. I get it. You need to think about academics, extracurriculars, have a social life, sleep every now and then, take care of your health and stuff. And oh, your college is supposed to be the best time of your life, right? And it gets pretty hectic, pretty stressful at times. You might feel overwhelmed, you might feel that you're not doing enough, and there's a lot of things that you need to juggle and stuff. Trust me, I've been through this whole process. Spent 2 years in college, currently going to start my third year in engineering. I mean, it's a dual degree, and this is probably going to be my most hectic semester yet. But this is something that I'm truly like passionate about, so I want to do this. Let me just start off by introducing myself. So my name's Adit, as you can see on the name down there. If you're listening to this on audio streaming platforms, then my name's Adit. You can't see the stuff on screen, but yeah. I'm currently going to start my third year in BITS Pilani Goa campus, which is an engineering college. I'm also the youngest LinkedIn top voice. I mean, I haven't found anyone younger than me who's a top voice, so I'm the youngest top voice. I post stuff on LinkedIn. I do YouTube videos. I sometimes write on Twitter. I mean, I show up daily on Twitter, but nobody reads those, so we don't talk about that. And I basically randomly explore things and figure out what I want to do in life. I have no clue what I want to do like 3 years from now. And I'm actually jealous of those people who have like their whole life planned out and figured out and stuff. But that's about me. And let me just tell you more about the Campus Compass, which is what you're listening to right now. If you're watching this, then the thing you see on your top left is the podcast logo. It's just a campus, it's just a compass. And what I want you to think of this podcast is like that one senior who sort of has his life somewhat figured out, because none of us have it 100% figured out, right? But this one person who you're talking to in the form of this podcast has at least some stuff figured out and has been through this process. At least if he doesn't have stuff figured out, he's at least been through this process, so he knows like the mistakes you might do, the pitfalls to avoid, and what usually works and stuff. Going forward, I'll probably have a few guests on this podcast who will strictly either be college students or people who have graduated in the last 3 to 4 years or so. Because, according to me, the best person who can teach you anything is someone who's just like 3 to 4 steps ahead of you instead of someone who's like 200 steps ahead of you, because they've probably forgotten what they did at the very start and stuff. So all the guests on this podcast will probably just be college students or people who have graduated within the last 3 to 4 years of recording that podcast episode. I mean, this will change like 1 or 2 years in the future, but and yeah, coming to the frequency of podcast episodes, I plan to make this weekly, but of course, most plans fail, as you might know. And if you don't know this, then you're probably not a college student yet. But most plans fail. Most things that you have in mind for yourself fail, and people try their best to stick to it. I will try my best to stick to a consistent podcast uploading schedule, because it's going to be a bit tricky because it's also a video and audio podcast. um, I'm still figuring out what RSS feeds and all these things are, because uh, podcast first timer. I had another podcast a long time ago. We don't talk about that. But moving on, another thing that I want you to know is that this is going to be a very informal podcast. So you can, I'm sort of still figuring out a way for like the audience to ask questions and stuff. I don't know how like big podcast people do it, but I'm still figuring that out. And if you have any questions related to like your college life or something that you've been struggling with or something that you want to see in the next few episodes, then feel free to write in. You have my LinkedIn, it'll probably be there somewhere on this video or on the audio thing, whatever. Reach out on LinkedIn, reach out on Twitter. I usually read. You can just email me also, I'll probably read. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the introduction. This is the Campus Compass, the one place where hopefully you'll find answers to most of your questions related to college and campus life. This is also the place that I wish I had 2 years ago when I was starting college. There were so many questions that I had, like how the hell do you do personal finance, and like what the hell is a cover letter? How do you make a resume? Stuff like that, basic stuff that should have been taught to us but wasn't, and we were supposed to figure out on our own in college. Will be taught. I don't want to say taught, but will be explored and like spoken about in this podcast. So that's it for now. This introduction is almost 5 minutes, which is pretty long, but this is the first episode of the Campus Compass. And thank you for listening. If you have been listening till now, you're probably in like the top whatever percent of people who started this podcast and then did not finish the episode and stuff, blah blah blah. But thank you for listening. Subscribe, follow whatever you do for podcast. I think it's follow or subscribe, one of those. But I'll get back to you real soon with the second episode. Do let me know what you want to listen to, what you want to listen about, what you want to know about from this podcast. And I'm just gonna end it right here. See you in the next episode. Subscribe, follow, hit me up if you want anything, and that's it for now. GG.